Hi guys, it's Mrs. C here with Cycle 1, Week 17, Master's Edition. So if you are teaching the younger ages, I do have some videos available from the last time through this cycle, although towards the second semester I don't have every single one, but you can reference those if you have younger ones. I'm pretty sure I have a Week 17 up for that. So we had a little Valentine's party today at CC, which was awesome. That's one of the things that I love about being part of a community is my kids get like the fun parts of school, like the parties and hanging out with their friends and stuff, but without all the negative parts of school. So anyway, we will jump right in. We started with geography. I did not do anything super special for geography. Again, I'm really finding with the older kids, like it's really easy to prep the new grammar stuff. I do have to put more prep, I feel like, into science and art for them because they're ready to go a little deeper and have more explanations, and just doing the experiment isn't always as enthralling as the little ones find it. But the new grammar, I feel like I don't have to put quite as much into because they don't need all of the tricks, I guess I would say. But I still want to make it engaging for them. So I did Ethiopia on the large map, the Black Line Master map. It kind of, to me, looks like the profile of like a medieval knight's helmet. So that's what I explained it to them as. We just outlined it, put an E inside of it. And then we worked our way down. Then we went down to Zimbabwe, outlined it, put a Z inside of it, outlined Mozambique, outlined South Africa, outlined Madagascar, put all of our letters in there. And I really am enjoying going back through the geography and reviewing the previous weeks with them out of order, just pointing at all the different parts on the map. Really, I go by like which ones I can remember as I'm pointing, so I know that I'm telling them the right one. Sometimes they correct me though, because they know it better than I do occasionally. Sorry, my puppy really wants my attention because I've been gone all day. So we just went through all of that. We go through the new geography a couple times, and then we go through and do a review, whatever all we can get through in a few minutes through the review. So right now, because we are on the Africa side of the map still, we mostly do ones from our earlier weeks where we've been doing the Red Sea, the Dead Sea, we've been doing Judah, Phoenicia, like all of those. We go through all of that. We go through Gaul, Hispania, Rome, and then we do more recent weeks where we're doing Tangier and Fez and ancient Mali and stuff like that. So the ones we haven't been hitting quite as much are the ones that are on the full world map. But when we move to South America, we will be back on the full world map side. And so we will hit those when we're doing that side. So anyway, that's geography. After I go through and review, we go back and we hit the new ones again just to kind of make sure, like, see if we kind of got them. So after we've kind of forgot them for a minute and then gone back through to see if we still have them. So anyway, then we move to math. So for math, I'm still using my geometry song. I've linked it in previous videos. I'll try, to remember to link it here. But it is very simple. I've used it every year. I use it for every age because it sticks with the kids. So I will sing it for him. It goes, the area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of its side squared s squared. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. The circumference of a circle equals 2 times pi times the radius. Geometry. There's a whole like intro and outro in it, but anyway, that's the geometry song. So it covers all of our geometry, and I just love it. Like, it's catchy. So I will try to link the video. There's a really great video. Very simple graphics, simple piano playing, nothing too complicated, easy to learn, and it's not really fast. So I feel like it's not so much that you can't catch all the words, or that if you're trying to learn it and sing along, then you can't do it. So I will try to link that when I remember to, because I'm really bad about that after I get done doing my videos. One of you will comment, hey, you never linked that. And I'll be like, oh, I got to link it. And then I'll go and throw it in the description. So if I don't link it, please just leave a comment and I will get you the link. So All right, so then after that, we went over and we went to Latin. So this week I wrote Latin up on the board, but I only gave them a couple of clues of the second declension. So I gave them the first us, and then I gave them an and then I gave them, in the plural, I gave them the east and the east, like the two that are over on there. So I'm trying to help those that are memory masters, because when you are testing a memory master, you don't give them any hints. Like you're not going to give them the tune to it so they can go, oh, that's the tune, and take off. You'll say, can you tell me the second declension noun endings? And they will just have to know the second declension and go. And so I'm trying to help those that are doing memory master start getting used to just having to recall it without any prompting. So, they started off, they saw the us, and they started into us, oi, ooh, which is not what this one is. I almost second guess myself there. Not what this one is. So I just let them sit and try to remember and figure out what it was, because they had some clues for the other ones, and they're like, oh wait, that's not right. What is it? Finally, one of them remembered the Jingle Bells, tune, and then they were able to get through it. And so what we came up with to help ourselves remember is, with second declension, because we do have two that start with us, second declension only has one us. So I was saying us looks like us, so it's like me and you, there's two of us. Whereas fourth declension is us, is us, so us, so you and you and you and you, that's four, so that's fourth declension. So I know that there are lots of different devices that people use to remember those. I have never found one that has consistently worked for me, and this one finally clicked and it works for me. So again, second declension has one us, which looks like us, so you and you, there's two of us, we're gonna go do that. And then fourth declension has us, so it's you and you and you and you, there's four. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. It may not be, but that's the clue that I gave them. So we just sang through it a few times. They know the second declension noun endings. It's just getting them to the point where they recognize them as second declension is what I'm kind of trying to focus on this semester. Okay, so then we went over to science. Science, we had our volcano parts. This isn't a long list, so we just said it several times. I erased them all to see if they could say it without being erased. They totally could. So I have been using the science cards, and I pulled that out. Just read a little bit about what's the difference between magma and lava, and what makes a vent different than a crater, that kind of stuff. Just read briefly through the card. Again, not our job to teach. I'm not trying to take that away from the parents at all. I am just trying to give them some places to stick this information that they're getting. So last week I came up with the mnemonic device. This week I didn't really have one. We just chanted magma, vents, lava, crater, gases over and over. So, and they had it by the end, so we'll see if that sticks. So then we went to English. So for English, I have a song for math. I try not to do all songs, but there's a song for English as well. But today we had May Must Might. So we also just kind of did it like we would do like hyper self-stuff. May must might, May must might, May must might, May must might, May must might. And they thought I was weird, but whatever. I have stopped caring whether they think I'm weird or not. I am fully confident in my weirdness. So I wrote up on the board, he may win, but he must fight with all his might, just to kind of help connect all of those words together. That's not the proper use of all of them though, so just do be aware of that. Then we went back through, and I had also written up on my board, I wrote may, must, might in larger letters, and on the rest of my board I had the rest of our helping verbs. The 2 weeks we've already covered, the 2 we have coming up, had them written in smaller ones, so we went through all of them. The song that I'm using for it is to the tune of This Old Man, and it goes, helping verbs, help another verb, a certain action, being, or existence. Helping verbs make lots of sense. Helping verbs are do, does, did, should, would, could. Wait, here we go, okay. Do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might, should, would, could, shall, will, can. Helping verbs can lend a hand. There you go. I'm modeling not knowing them very well yet. I'm still learning the new list because they changed it from the last time. So anyway, I'll try that second part again. Okay. Helping verbs are do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might, should, would, could, shall, will, can. Helping verbs will lend a hand. So that's the tune I'm doing. It's This Old Man again. And we sang through that a couple of times. Some of them like the song, some of them, the boys mostly, are like, I got this, lady. So anyway, we had history. So history, I brought in my little guitars again, because this is like, has awesome like Spanish guitar sounding in it. And so they just played on the little guitars. We read it through, and then I played the song for them a couple times, and then we turned the music off, and I let them still tinker on their guitars, and I erased words. I hadn't done that in a really long time with them. So we just erased some of the main words out of there, saw if we could sing it through again. I erased some more words, saw if we could sing it through, and then I pretty much just erased the whole thing and saw if we could sing it through. So this is a more morbid song, and they didn't seem to have a problem with it at this age. If you have more sensitive kids in there, you might just be aware of that, but it didn't really seem to faze them. So anyway, that was history. For timeline, all of my kids can just sing right through the timeline. If you give them one, they just take off on it. So we tried to slow down a little bit, and I just showed them the cards one at a time. So Napoleon, Crowned Emperor of France, and then I'd ask them a question about that piece of the timeline. So what was Napoleon's last name? Some of them knew it was Bonaparte, some of them didn't. And he was crowned emperor of what? And it says on the card, France. So put that card down. We had liberation of South America, and asked, where is South America? And I tried to trick them and point to South Africa up on my map. And they were like, no, it's South America. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So at liberation of South America, we talked about that we had just talked about Hernan Cortez coming over, and that the Aztecs were in Mesoamerica, but that's still kind of part of South America, and that the Spanish were starting to come over. They speak Spanish in most of the South American countries. Some do speak Portuguese as well, but that they were the ones settling more South America. We had War of 1812. What is that war? Where was it fought? I just asked them some questions about them to make them think about the timeline a little bit more, because again, my class can sing all the way through it. Now, yours may not be able to, and that's totally fine. You might be a newer community or have newer students, and so don't feel like, oh, well, my class can't do that. Then you just go through and mix up the cards and have them put it in order. Do the bomb game, give them each one, and have them try to get themselves in order. There's a ton of different ways to do it. But again, my class, they're able to sing all the way through it, and they won't stop singing it once I start them a lot of times. So we just went through them individually. Missouri Compromise, asked if they knew what that was about. None of them really knew what that was about, so I gave them a little fact about that. Immigrants Flocked to America, I asked which island that most of the immigrants came through. The Monroe Doctrine, what was that about? Why is that something we need to learn about in our history sentence? And then the Romantic Period of the Arts, which is the one that I love because it's really dramatic. And the sign, if you are doing the signs, the sign is you do like a sad face and then you do a really happy face. So anyway, yeah, that was all we did for today. Last week we did week 17, or not last week, the week before last, we did week 17 science because it was easier when, and our director was out with a sick kid. So this week we did week 16 art and science. And so for my class, if you are watching this because you weren't able to be there, we did drawer, and we blew up a balloon, and we did sorry, my lights just flickered. And we did balloon and talked about volcano with the squeezy tube. If you haven't already done the squeezy tube and I feel like you probably will have already done that if you're watching this because we did them out of order. But if you haven't, we took liberties with our squeezy tube of toothpaste, and it had like the pop open cap on the end. And so we tried to see, we took bets on which end we thought it would explode out of if you applied enough pressure. And we had to put a lot of pressure on it. And surprisingly, it came out of the heat sealed end. It did not come out of the cap end. I really thought the cap would flip off, but it didn't. It popped out the other end. So that was really fun. They just thought that was really great to watch. So anyway, that's what we did for this week. I hope that's helpful. This video is getting long, so I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you back next week with week 18. Bye, guys.